Okay, so last night was obviously quite a big night for us Spider-Man fans. That trailer was awesome, and it showed a lot. But obviously not everything, there are still some mysteries left over, which we're gonna kind of try and use this trailer and use other materials to kind of decode and kind of piece together what we're going to be getting out of Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, a warning, this video will contain potential spoilers. These are things that could come to pass, so if you'd rather just wait and see and not speculate, that's absolutely fine. Just click off this video, this isn't gonna be for you. But all the same, this is just purely speculation, so there's no guarantee that some of the estimates in this are going to happen at all either. But there will be certain previous alleged leaks factoring into this, so like if you want to be spared any kind of information about said leaks, then yeah, just run away. And just a reminder, these videos are made possible by my supporters on this platform, so if you do want to support me, be sure to hit that big beautiful subscribe button. And be sure to check out the Patreon link in the description below. Okay, so I'm going to be scrubbing through the trailer in real time here, just to kind of go through it with you guys, and just talk about certain things that I am seeing. And, you know, obviously it looks to be an exciting trailer. And, yeah, there's a lot to go off of here, so let's kind of just go from the beginning. We've kind of... We're kind of getting a return to the sort of broody, introspective Peter Parker that the MCU's kind of veered away from a little bit in favor of making him a little bit more, I guess, placid, a bit more happy-go-lucky. I think a lot of the people that were missing the drama in previous Spider-Man films are going to be a little happier with this one than they have been with the previous ones. Obviously, I think the first act is going to focus on Peter's identity reveal, him being on the run, and it looks like situations are getting very desperate, especially here, when he's just narrowly swinging away from a moving train. I think all of this stuff, I kind of feel like there's like time delineators in this. I feel like everything with him in the red and black suit, just the standard Spider-Man suit, is going to be kind of first act stuff, and everything with him in the black and gold suit will be second act, and everything with the integrated suit will be third act, I reckon. So obviously, Doctor Strange and Spider-Man botched the spell, and Doctor Strange himself says, when we botched the spell. I feel like that almost kind of means that Peter Parker won't get to keep his secret identity back in this. So I feel like that, you know, that remains to be seen, but I doubt they're actually going to do the spell if it doesn't work the first time. So I feel like Peter's identity is going to be out there now. But yeah, we see Green Goblin flying through the mist over here. And, okay, so we got clear looks at the black and gold suit for the very first time. Like, we saw it very fleetingly in the previous trailer, but here we actually get a good look at it, and it does look very much like it is an inside-out Spider-Man costume. And he appears to be wearing the suit while he's fighting Electro, which makes me wonder if maybe there's, like, rubber in it. But then again, there's a lot of circuitry, there's a lot of this gold-exposed metal here, so I get the feeling this is going to be the worst possible suit he could wear. But at the same time, it looks like he's got some rubber on here, and he's got Doctor Strange's little gauntlet. And we do see him later in the trailer wielding Doctor Strange's little magic rune here. So I think that's what that is for, obviously. Moving along, we've got Dr. Octavius jumping through, fighting Spider-Man. And this is the point where he kind of says, "You're not Peter," because obviously it's not his Peter Parker. Which does confirm that this is from the Raimi-verse. I mean, if that wasn't clear already. There has been some speculation about his red arms, and I've seen people saying, is he using Stark tech? But if you look here, you can see Peter Parker in the Iron Spider, and he's got a chunk missing from the chest. And to get that chest chunk back, he has to reduce his mask, which shows that the Iron Spider is clearly very compromised, and I think Doc Ock is using the nano tech from the Iron Spider to augment his arms, hence why they're red. And I think, you know, a lot of people have already kind of noticed that. There is a shot of him as well somewhere in here, augmenting his arms with the nanotech. I'm trying to find that. That's obviously his debut appearance. That's him attacking Peter. That's him chucking cars at him. So it looks like we're in for an exciting fight scene on this bridge between Peter and Doc Ock. But it's not just going to be a 1v1, because obviously we've got Goblin emerging through here as well. So we're going to see Spider-Man up against his two arch nemeses, and I get the feeling there's going to be a power struggle between Doc Ock and Green Goblin. But at the same time, when we see this scene here, they're being relatively calm towards each other. And there's a whole part where Doc Ock is kind of narrating, telling Peter that, you know, he's going up against ghosts and that all of these enemies died in battle against Spider-Man. So it leads me to believe that Doc Ock might be forming something of an uneasy alliance with Peter Parker, and that is something I would be very excited to see. Whether or not, you know, it goes to a full alliance. But another thing that I think gives this some credence is later on in this trailer, there's a moment, yeah, here, Doc Ock is falling out of this building, and it looks like Electro has blasted him out of it, which means that he's clearly not united with the other villains. His alignment is not with them, it seems. So, yeah, moving along. Oh, here we go. Here's him augmenting the nanotech, and you can kind of see it's nanotech with the rigid edges and everything. And they look like little Steppenwolf heads. But yeah, so Doc Ock is going to be, I think, assimilating most of the Iron Spider, which obviously leads Spider-Man to kind of combine what he's got left of the Iron Spider with his advanced suit. And yeah, that's something that's kind of interesting is when we've seen kind of leaked images of it and early artwork, it's been a bit more Iron Spider inclined. Like, it's had different gloves, it's had the big Iron Spider web shooters. Here, it is very much just, it's the upgraded suit with some strips of red here and a giant white spider on the chest, and not white, sorry, gold spider on the chest and back. So, yeah, obviously, it's, you know, quite different from the merchandise. So, yeah, Green Goblin appears to be getting two different looks, one of which matches the leaks that we saw, and that shows up quite early on here. So presumably, Green Goblin, sorry, presumably his costume is going to get damaged, and he's obviously going to have to make some changes, but we can kind of see this hood here, and it looks like it's a much more classic-looking Green Goblin in some ways, but he's got no mask, and we're seeing the return of the spinny blades, the things that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man hates. That's the point, actually. If you look here, you can see Ned and MJ on the phone, as if they're sort of viewing Peter's battle. And obviously they're working as a team in this, which, again, further evidence that Doctor Strange's spell to restore Spider-Man's secret identity hasn't worked. So that's obviously, like, something that they're doing. I think this is kind of on its way to potentially the final battle. There's something very foreboding about this. But then again, we don't know what Spider-Man that is. Like, we can only see him from this distance, sorry. We've also got J. Jonah Jameson here witnessing Electro attacking like a news station. And I think Sandman is also, yeah, Sandman is also present there. We're seeing a lot of Sandman in his very sandy form. We're going to see Doc Ock and Spider-Man using their little arms against each other, which is going to be cool. Right, so someone's going to be on the receiving end of this pumpkin bomb here. And, you know, Peter's obviously going out to catch it. And this looks very much like the same location that we see later in the trailer. And we see Aunt May running through it. It's definitely the same sort of lighting. We've also got Happy Hogan here. So yeah, what is this? What is this here? Here it is. Okay, so yeah, Aunt May's running, and probably for her life. And it definitely looks like the same lighting as when we see Peter catching the pumpkin bomb. As you see here, like... So I think he's rescuing her, potentially. Either that or she's going to die in this film. Because they've already said that someone in this film is going to die. And they've kind of hinted at it at the end of the trailer here, being MJ, possibly. And it's definitely, you know, brings back memories of a certain character death in one of the Andrew Garfield movies. Which is where I think that can come into play. I get the feeling, and I think a lot of people have said this as well, he's not going to catch her. Andrew Garfield is. As like kind of a form of redemption. Now, what's got me saying that these guys are definitely going to be in this movie is there is some stuff to go by here. We can see kind of this this enemy charge coming right up here. Yeah, here we go. So we've got Spider-Man on the left, and we've got Electro, Lizard, and Sandman all charging at him. Sandman is on the right trajectory to get him. He could just swallow him whole. Electro's quite a bit behind Sandman, so he's just gonna go there. Like, what? He's not aiming for Spider-Man, and neither is Lizard. Lizard's like way out in front. There's no way he's aiming in the same direction. So I think the other Spideys are here. They've been painted out, and this wouldn't be the first time that Marvel Studios trailers have scrubbed certain characters out of certain shots. We saw it in Infinity War when the Hulk was in the charge in Wakanda, when, you know, in the actual movie he wasn't. So, like, you know, this is probably a CGI shot anyway. It's going to be easy enough to just get the CGI Spideys out of that shot. Oh, really nice shot there of the integrated suit. I actually... You know, I still feel like it's a step in the wrong direction. It's not as nice as the upgraded suit, but, like, it's still... I actually like this design here. This turned out much better than I'd expected. This stuff here... Okay, so I don't think that Peter will be going to other universes in this. Doctor Strange states early on that since they botched the spell, that they've been getting visitors from other dimensions. And this here, I think it's all going to be in the home MCU, the main location. I think what this is here is we can see that there is some conflict between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Because basically Doctor Strange knows that Spider-Man has to send the enemies home to their deaths, effectively, and Spider-Man doesn't want to do that. This is a really good plot point to add in, because it makes the villains more compelling because they're legitimately fighting for their lives, but it also means that Spider-Man's kind of trying to look out for them as well. This is a new dynamic that we haven't really seen before. And Spider-Man's got this mother box here, which I think is going to be the key to sealing the villains back in their home dimensions. And Doctor Strange is like, no, you got to send him home. Like, you can't keep him here. And obviously it's come to blows between the two, as we see here. And I think, you know, Doctor Strange is going to open a portal that's going to lead them here to this Grand Canyon looking place with these trains. I think, you know, this is going to be a really exciting fight scene. And I think that's also going to result in them going through that curly world, this here. As he's also got the mother box with him. And also, I mean, that said then, if he's wearing his upgraded suit, this makes sense, actually. So maybe it's later in the film that Peter gets the paint thrown at him, which leads him to having to change his suit to the black and gold one. That's just speculation, of course. But, like, we know that there's, like, a protest that does it. And knowing that the spell went wrong and that people still know his secret identity, that's perfectly possible to happen, I don't know, into the second act or something. But this is obviously after he's met the villains. After he's met the different enemies. So, yeah. Also, as well as that, this looks to be where potentially the final battle is taking place, and they're renovating the Statue of Liberty to be carrying Captain America's shield in memory of Steve Rogers. And basically there was a plot leak that did suggest that the 3 Spider-Men would fight the Sinister Six at the Empire State Building. Not Empire State Building. The Statue of Liberty. Why did I say Empire State Building? Sorry about that. So that does line up and give some credence. But also the fact that it's all covered in scaffolds. And the image that we've seen of Andrew Garfield on set has him against a blue screen with scaffolding in front of it. Now, this could just be how the set is structured. It could be that there's multiple levels to it and that they'd paint out the scaffolds. But all the same, I think it's much more likely that the blue screen would just be left unimpeded and that they wouldn't have the scaffold in front of it unless the scaffold was going to actually factor in. And I think, you know, that makes perfect sense. Also, the fact that, you know, the shot that John Campier leaked showed the Spider-Men at kind of like the waterfront. And obviously, you've got to go there to get to Staten Island. So I think that screenshot is real. So I think, you know, this is kind of our evidence of the 2 other Spider-Men being in there. I also just want to draw attention back to this bit here. If you look at the, I think, Brazil version of the trailer, Lizard actually gets kicked in the face by an invisible man. So, again, I think the other 2 Spider-Men are here. It's just they've been painted out. So, yeah. I think also, in terms of characters potentially dying, I think Andrew Garfield will save MJ as kind of a redemption for what happened with Gwen. But I think Aunt May will be on the receiving end of that pumpkin bomb, and she'll die. And that will make it okay if Peter Parker gets trapped in another dimension. Because I kind of feel like if Peter Parker gets trapped in another dimension, Aunt May doesn't, and she's still alive. That's a really sad fate for Aunt May. I feel like if they kill her off, it gives them more license to seal Spider-Man in the Sonyverse. And, you know, that could be the final MCU Spider-Man film. At the same time, I feel like we're going to see Peter remain in the MCU, especially given that we're getting the Marvel Studios Spider-Man Freshman Year TV series. I think there's plenty more Spider-Man to come from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so I don't think he's done. But yes, so that's basically how I think this is all going to work. He's going to be sending the villains home to their deaths, and they're fighting for their lives. And in the end, like, it's going to boil down to this massive battle at the Statue of Liberty, and there will be the other two Spider-Man present, and that's, you know, what I think is going on here. Obviously, if this is the Sinister Six, they've yet to reveal a sixth villain. I don't think they'd just go to 5 and not have that sixth villain. So the question is, who could that sixth villain be? If they want to keep in theme with Spider-Man villains who died during their fights with Spider-Man, it would make sense to have Venom. And I mean the Toth for Grace version of Venom. But I don't know if they're going to necessarily go there, but that would be an awesome choice. And then there's the possibility of Mysterio, as he's the one MCU Spider-Man villain to actually die so far. So, that's a possibility. But of course, not all of these villains did die. Like, Lizard and Sandman did not die in battle with Spider-Man, and I'm hoping they'll acknowledge that, because otherwise that is quite a plot hole. But yeah, okay, so that's the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. That's what I've gotten from this. What do you guys think? Do you have any theories that I didn't mention? Please drop them in the comments below. And until the next time, guys, bye-bye. So what do you guys think? If you enjoyed this video and you want to support more like it, be sure to hit that big, beautiful subscribe button. And of course, in the description below are links to different social media feeds, including the Patreon. If you're feeling extra generous, like the following people, who are David 20 Covers, JK Strife, Marcus Ward, Sirius the Skeptic, Biotinarts, Mr. SP, Sergio, George is Lost, Legendary Ray Ray, Cheesemaster769, Adam Myers, and Fayalan Schwarzentraub. Thank you guys, you are the best of the best, but as for the rest of you, thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.